All right, so let's talk about what exactly it is that we're doing with ANOVA using a practical example. This is a data set I'm going to provide you on the course page that you can download if you want to play along in PSPP with me when we get there. But we're going to go through this with multiple different examples of what to do with this data. So here's the setup for this pretend data. Let's say that somebody released a study saying that if you play music in class, students perform higher on their quizzes. They get higher tests. They get higher test scores. All right. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, there has to be more variables involved in this, right? Because we surely can't be expecting the same scores if we're playing classical music versus Metallica, right? So maybe I'm wanting to analyze different types of music in class and see which one impacts quiz scores, or maybe some make it go higher and some make it go lower. So what I've set up in my pretend little example here is that I have 3 classes, each one with 10 students, right? I have 10 observations, 3 different classes. And let's say that I have it set up that class number 1, I played classical music, instrumental music. Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, right? Piano, maybe some light woodwinds or string instruments, but something that's very mellow, relaxing, classical music. Let's say in class number 2, I played all of the familiar sing-along favorites that you hear at weddings and dances. We're doing like Proud Mary and Ice Ice Baby and Thriller and Bohemian Rhapsody and all just the popular party songs. So maybe the idea is that we have songs that people would have happy memories associated with, songs that everyone knows the words, right? And then in class number 3, we're just doing like ambient, mellow music, like what you would expect to hear in a spa or a yoga class or something like that. Just very mellow background noise, something that there's music, but it's not really distracting. So we have our 3 classes with these 3 different types of music. And we're going to see if which class you're in has an impact on your quiz score, your test score. Now, a couple of things to be familiar with for ANOVAs. We use the letter K to denote how many groups we're working with. So since in this we're doing 3 classes, our K equals 3. We use a capital letter N to denote how many total observations we have in our population that we're working with for this analysis. So for this example, our total N would be the N of group 1 plus the N of group 2 plus the N of group 3. Very simple. They each have 10 students in each one. 10 times 3 is 30. The reason that I made sure to specify that it's of the samples we're working with is because maybe we took data from 5 different classes and had 50 students, but we're only comparing these 3. You wouldn't compare the N of your entire population you had surveyed, your entire sample population you had surveyed. You only use the N of the groups you're comparing for this analysis. So remember, within group variability and between group variability, okay? So my within group variability, I would be talking about how much does each observation in class 1 differ from the mean of class 1? Each observation in class 2, the mean of class 2, each observation in class 3, the mean of class 3. My between group variability, I would be interested in finding the mean of all of these participants, finding my grand mean, which I went ahead and did the math, that's 5.1. I would find the mean of each of my classes. I did that math too. So the mean, X bar, the mean of class number 1 was 7. The mean of class number 2 was 4. The mean of class number 3 is 4.3. So the between group, what I am interested in is the variability with each one of these classes as a whole compared to the grand mean. Okay, so again, just a summary of within group and between group variability, which we've already talked about a couple of times now, but it's an important concept with ANOVA. So if I'm eyeballing this, and we're going to pull up PSPP and show you how to actually analyze it. But if I'm eyeballing this, I would look at this and say, okay, my total student population on these quizzes that we did, that the mean was 5.1. Group 2 and Group 3 are pretty similar with their group means, right? 4 and 4.3. But Group 1 over here with a mean of 7, that seems pretty different than these two. And that seems quite a bit higher than the grand mean. So again, we're not making any analysis yet. We're just kind of looking at our means. We're seeing how they compare. Because one thing to know as we move into the PSPP portion of this is your initial statistical result, is only going to show you if there's a difference anywhere. And then you have to do some additional statistical tests to see where exactly that difference was. But so eyeballing it at the beginning can at least give you a good starting point of knowing what direction you might want to be looking at your results with. So to recap where we are at this point, K is the number of groups you're considering. Your total N, your capital N, is the number of cases in this statistical analysis you're going to do. Grand mean is the mean of all of your participants, all of your cases in that analysis. And then we break it down by group as well. Oh yeah, and just as a reminder, since I said I want you to be familiar with the terminology of independent variable and dependent variable, and remember with ANOVAs, we call independent variables our factors. So your independent variable, dependent variable, so you ask what is affecting what? Music is affecting quiz scores, test scores. So independent variable, or type of music, I guess. So the independent variable is type of music, factor, type of music, the dependent variable, test scores. So that's an overview of our hypothetical situation that we have set up here. And we will talk about how we're going to analyze this in PSPP. Because remember, I don't care about you knowing how to do ANOVAs by hand. It's not something you will ever need to do. So don't worry about the by hand calculations on this unless you just really love math and you want to work through it. We'll hop over to PSPP and we'll show how we would find results and how we would interpret those results.